welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a very, very windy, quite rainy Northumberland. I'm back out on another exploratory mission tonight. There's another gully I've been eyeing up which I really want to try, and again conditions look like they could be favourable. Slightly different to last time. Last time I had a bit of a die in northerly, and tonight it's full blown easterly. It's really, really windy outside. It must be 25, 30. It's coming heavily straight in off the east. It's very choppy, so I don't know how it's going to go. The sea's been running for probably maybe, I don't know, a day, something like that, not quite 2 days, so I'm hoping there's not going to be too much weed, if any. Well, ideally none at all, but we'll see how it goes. So I think because of the squalls that have been coming in, it might just be a lot of filming off the GoPro and a bit of voiceover, because I can't risk getting gear wet, and I think it is gonna rain off and on. It's cold. It's probably about 5-6 degrees with a wind chill. I'll be lucky if it's above 0. So I'm gonna get wrapped up, get down there, see what we can do. I've got some wings, crab and lug from AD Tackle. So we'll get down there, we'll get set up in just about daylight and see if we can pull a fish out or two. So as you can see, it's quite a horrible night. Good conditions for cod, but not particularly good for humans. So first cast, there was still a fair bit of water left in the gully. I chucked my gear probably 30 yards max, and within 5 minutes I got a small bite. As I struck into it, it was quite clear it was actually not a bad fish. Fortunately, didn't have to wind it very far due to the fact that it was really close in. And within probably 6 or 7 minutes of getting my first bait in the water, I was in receipt of a nice 5.5 pound cod, which made the effort very much worthwhile, because the video doesn't really do it justice, but it was a really, really snotty night. But there's the fish. Lovely prime condition, probably one of the best conditioned cod I've caught this season. Really lovely colour to it. Unfortunately, it wasn't deep hooked. It had taken the hook, but it was just deep in its mouth. It wasn't in the top of its stomach. So got it unhooked, and thankfully it went back perfectly and swam away, which was good to see. There it is, just weighed it. Lovely plump fish. As I said, absolutely brilliant condition. Gave us a good scrap, albeit it was over a short distance, but really, really pleased to get it on a night like that. You can probably see the way the tail and fins are moving. It was absolutely blowing a gale, but over the moon to get it. Quick measure, quick weigh, and get it back in the water. So got this one weighed, and it went £5 5 ounces, which is actually the best of the season. Revived it in the pool for a little bit, and then it swam off happily in the water. As you can see, the sea had come away, but the water wasn't particularly coloured at that point. It had only been running for about a day, so it hadn't really coloured up, but fortunately the fish was still there. Gear of choice was the usual Shimano Aero Technium 55 pound braid, 80 pound leader, the trusty Ziplex HST Evo. Bait was a combination of carp wings and crab, and as you can see here, plenty of movement, a little bit of colour, but not loads compared to what it's like when the sea's been away for a few days. So the very next cast, and again I was just casting really short, probably again 20-30 yards, very close. Had what actually was a better bite than the first fish. Just wound into it, made contact again, which was good. Wind was still absolutely howling. By this point it was getting plagued with sort of squalls coming straight from the sea, so it was not a nice evening to be fishing. But managed to get the next fish in, much smaller fish, but nice to catch all the same, keeps the spirits up when the weather's like it was that night. So there's the fish. Not a huge fish, but always a welcome catch. A pretty miserable evening, probably about, I don't know, £1.5, something like that. Again, really nice condition fish. Unfortunately, not damaged, didn't take the hook too deep. So once he was unhooked, revived in the rock pool, and he went back, swam away safely again, which was good. A few casts later, and a lot of wind and rain later as well, the tide had ebbed quite a bit. It wasn't a big tide, but the gully that I was fishing just seemed empty and the bites just went dead. So I think the fish were definitely there on the sort of half tide down, and then as it got too shallow, they just retreated out of there. But it was all a bit of a learning curve anyway. And what I'm having to do here, you can't really tell from the video, but I'm actually pointing me stand and rod rest and rod back towards the shore, just so they're in line with the easterly wind, rather than having my gear side on or pointing into the wind. It just made the fishing much easier by doing that. Oh dear me. Oh, they were some of the wildest conditions I've fished in a long time. But to be fair, I think we passed 3 sessions. It's been lush nights, not a breath of wind. So I was due a bit of a bad one. But God, my fingers numb at the ends. I haven't felt that for quite a while. But that was pretty wild and tough going. I was getting very cold towards the end there, to be honest. But yeah, again, very happy with how that's gone. There was another gully I'd been eyeing up for a while, waiting for the conditions to be favourable for it, or what I thought the conditions, waiting for what I thought the conditions would be favourable for. Got there, first cast on the ebb, 5.5 pounder, second cast one about, I don't know, £1.5, something like that. I think what I have learned, it was a 1.5 ebb, and probably about an hour and a quarter before bottom water went completely dead, because I think it just emptied out. I think I must have been fishing into a couple of foot of water, but I kind of knew that would happen anyway, and I thought I'll stick it out, wait till the flood. And if I hadn't been so knackered and I wasn't getting as cold, I mean, it started absolutely chucking it down there, I would have waited to see if anything had pushed in. But I think what I probably have learned on that mark is that it would have been better off to fish. I reckon it could be fishable even 2.5 hours after high water, when there's a lot more depth, and I think a smaller tide would definitely be better as well, so it didn't empty out. But anyway, it's all a learning curve. Happy with how that's gone. Both fish went back happily, which was nice. I got a little bit of a Brucey bonus tonight, because my first cast, my tip light I watched just fly into the water. Thought, oh well, that's a shame, goner. And then as the tide dropped, I went down onto the next ledge, looked behind us, and there's a little blue thing twinkling. Sure enough, it had just been washed up and it was absolutely fine. So another little bonus for the night. But yeah, anyway, not a bad night at all. So as always, thanks for watching. Tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you on the next one.